At the Texas state capitol, state lawmakers are starting their investigation into the deadly July 4th weekend flooding across the Hill Country and Central Texas. At least 137 people were killed.
Yeah, the House and Senate Select Committees on Flooding and Disaster Preparedness held the first joint hearing at the Capitol today. KVUE's Daniel Perot is there live. And Daniel, this is really the first time we're hearing a detailed play-by-play timeline of the state's response.
That's right, Ashley, Mark, and that timeline matters because state lawmakers are trying to get to the bottom and determine exactly what happened here so they can learn from it and figure out how to prevent it from happening again in the future. So far today, we've heard from the leaders of the state's emergency response. We expect in a little bit we're going to hear from those who manage the rivers throughout Flash Flood Alley. Let's walk you through that timeline that they gave state lawmakers today. Texas Emergency Management Director Nim Kidd says on Wednesday, July 2nd, the state's boat squads were deployed and agencies were placed on standby. Then on Thursday, this is the day before the flood, at 10 a.m. there was a statewide call with local authorities across the state. On that call, the National Weather Service's forecast mentioned a slight risk of flash flooding. By 1 p.m., Director Kidd says the state had resources in place across 44 counties. And then at 7:37 that night, the National Weather Service issued its first flash flood watch for parts of the Hill Country in Central Texas. Then on Friday morning, July 4th, 1:06 a.m., the National Weather Service made a mention of very heavy rainfall across the Hill Country at a rate of 2 to 3 inches per hour, and the agency issued its first flash flood warning 8 minutes later. By 3:06 a.m., they called it a very dangerous flash flood event. Between 3:19 and 4 a.m., the National Weather Service rapidly updated its river level forecast, saying that the Guadalupe River near Hunt would crest at more than 16 feet, then nearly 24 feet. At 4:23 a.m., the agency labeled it a flash flood emergency, and at 5:56 a.m., Kidd says he personally got the first phone call about people trapped on roofs. Kidd says one frustrating thing is there's no way to make sure those alerts also get to local authorities.
There is no system in place today to ensure that County Judge X or Mayor Y or Emergency Manager Z is getting the same information that we are getting from the National Weather Service.
You do see the problem with that, right?
I do.
In addition to the state's response and preparedness capabilities, today's hearing has also focused on flood planning and infrastructure, river authority operations, and first responder communication during emergencies,